Hey guys, today my job has been tasked with fitting the KS3 ride plate and a pump wedge to the 2024 Kawasaki Ultra 310. So I'll just get you to follow along and see how I do it. These things, particularly with the new trim box, you've got to do something a little different, which is again why I'm doing this video. There was two ways you can tell the trim box. There's an easy way, which is down on top of the trim box. The first four digits are going to be 2023. This trim box is a lot more electronically controlled than the 22 and the 23 jet skis, which have the earlier trim box. I'll show you another way, which is the length of the thread on the trim cable when we get down the back. But if you follow along with what I do, first thing I've got to do to get the ride plate off is I've got to get the reverse bucket down to get the clip off the reverse rod. So we have to go into maintenance mode. To get into maintenance mode, you don't need a lanyard. You've got to get rid of the lanyard. Won't let you in. Key it up. This thing, probably the fuel buzzer is probably going to come on, which is good. I like that. To get into maintenance mode, you hold down the circle button and the screen will change. So you scroll down to settings, enter there, you scroll down to maintenance, enter again. It's highlighted off. We need it to highlight on, obviously, so there we go, there's the fuel buzzer. All right, so when it buzzes like that, the left-hand one makes it shut up. Hold this down. Let's go back into settings again. We'll go back into maintenance again. Highlighted off is where we were, so we need to highlight it to on. So now it's highlighted on, we're good. I'll do a little initialization first. Hold the mode button down and you can hear at the back end the trim and the reverse buckets, you know, rod's doing its thing. I need the bucket to come down now so that I can get my hand in there to undo the clip for the trim button. This is how you do it. I press the down button for 5 seconds. I might get you to go down the back if you like, and you can see. So you can see the bucket. So I'm going to press the down button here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Off. The bucket will have come down. I normally trim up twice. So the up button, I hit 1, 2. What that does gives me a little bit of wiggle room. There you go. That allows me to get my hand underneath here and undo the clip. Okay, so therefore it can come off. I want to show you something about this a little bit later, but let's get this 24 ride plate off. I'm going to use power tools now to try and speed things up. So there's 8 bolts on the ride blade, 3 on each side and 2 in the middle. Alright, so now 2 centers left. Okay, we'll take the last one off. Alright, so now what I do is I get a blade and I just run along the silicone on the side, on the edges here, and I take the silicone off a little blade. Alright, a little bit easier with a blade. The other way is you can just pull the bucket down and sort of slowly leverage it down. Alright, so now that'll take that bucket off. Okay, so there's the bucket off. Alright, I'll put that down over here for the time being. Right, there is I'll talk to you now because there's access. When you have it in this situation, there's an 8mm lock nut here, and behind the lock nut I don't want any thread because we're going to adjust for this in the trim box itself. This one here, most of the 24s I've found from the factory already have the thread gone, but if you've got a one that does have thread showing, can you unlock the 8mm, spin that in so there's no thread, and then remember to lock the 8mm up when you've got it on. So there's the collar to put it on. So that's also special note, make sure when you put this on it actually comes all the way back. You don't want that to be jammed here and come off, so you've got to come all the way back. Okay, let's carry on with the job. The pump wedge is, we've got a K-speed pump wedge here. It fits in between this join. So for now, I need to use the 8mm and unlock the trim, take the bolt off, take the steering bolt off, so that I can take the two 12mm and the bilge off to fit the pump wedge. Okay, the steering has an 11mm lock nut at the back, so I just unlock that. Okay, because I'm going to need to adjust that. You cannot fit the pump wedge without adjusting the steering, and that's the same for the trim. You cannot fit a pump wedge and expect it to go straight on without doing the adjustment, which is what we're going to do now, or we're going to do in this video. So I've undone the lock nut. I'm now going to take the two 10mm bolts out. So that's the trim. Take the 10mm out for that. Take the 10mm out for the steering. Okay, we've taken the bilge line off. So now, actually I'll grab that spinner. Sorry. These are 12mm, so the factory ones are 12mm. Sorry. Undo the 12mm, loosen them all. Probably power tool these ones out. Leave the top one in so I can hold it. So now I have the nozzle and steering assembly off. The K-speed pump wedge comes with instructions which you can read, and I'm doing this as the video for it now. It comes with two 13mm bolts because they're a bit longer, because of the wedge is thicker here than it is here. That is how it becomes the wedge, and that just fits in there. Then that goes back on. The two 13mm got the bottom, two factory 12s got the top. So on the 24 models, here's something I need to show you. So on the trim here, so you got the, on the number on the box is how you can tell, and here's the other way you can tell. So if I pull this back, you will see there is very few threads here for adjustment. I have got an earlier cable from the 22, 23 models to show you the difference. So see how we've got that much thread on this, on the earlier model. This 24 model, we have very, very little. On the earlier models of the different videos, because we can adjust this, there's just no adjustment here. What we have done for us, I'll throw that away, in this little bag for the 24 model skis, or the people that have got the 2023 trim retrofitted to their ski for warranty reasons, we've got a little adapter here to give us some more thread. That will go into here, we'll Loctite that in, and we'll go onto here to give us the required thread length we need. Okay, let's do that. That is a 7mm here. So let's put a bit of thread locker on it. I just use medium strength for everything. Thread that on. This will be now a permanent fixture of this item. Grab my 7mm, grab my shifter, put that in there, tighten that up. All right, that is now part of that piece. Now I can thread this. I take the lock nut all the way back. I thread this on fully. Okay, so that's as far in as I can thread. Okay, I will lock that lock nut up. I'll spin it up now so it is touching, but I will lock that lock nut up when I put the 10mm bolt in. But right now that's as far as I'm going to go. Let's get the pump wedge on so we can do the adjustment. I need 2 of these and 2 of those. Just put a little bit of dab a thread locker on it. So the pump wedge will go on. The exit nozzle steering assembly will go on. Someone didn't lock the trolley before he started working. There we go. Put the bolt in. The 2 12s to the top. The 2 13mm longer bolts to the bottom. So I will spin those up now. Alright, I always tighten everything by hand so I know what the tension of the bolt is. Okay, so the pump wedge is fitted. Let's put the bilge line on now while we got it. There you go. The pump wedge is fitted in mechanically. We haven't done anything for adjusting the steering or adjusting the trim. What I will do, so I'll loosely put the steering in. You've got to measure it, but I know that it's got to come out. And average is about 4 or 5. So if I just wind it out a little bit for now, so 1 turn, 2 turn, 3 turn, 4 turn, 5 or 4 no, whatever. That'll get me in the ballpark for adjusting soon. We need to set the 0 on the trim. Okay, I'm going to go back up to the top and I'm going to initialize it on the dash like I showed you first time. That's going to pull that rod all the way in. It's going to find its home inside the trim box, and then I'm going to work from it there. Like I said in the beginning, we get about 4 or 5 initializations and we're good. All right, I'm going up the top. I'm up at the dash here, and I'm just going to press that mode button down to have the word initialize on the dash. Here we go. Holding it down now. There's initializing, and it's gone in and out to where I need it. Here is where I'm going to put the 10mm in, wherever I dropped 10mm. There. I'm going to, see, I've got to push this all the way back to now get to it, because that's where the computer thinks home is. I'm going to screw that in a few threads so it's not going to break, and I'm going to go do another initialize on it. Up here, holding the mode button down, initializing. Might even do it again. There you go. Okay, so it's just finding its home. Now I will take that out. I will Loctite this one, because I'm done with the trim side. Only a few more initializations shortly, but I'm going to work to the steering. So if I get this one done, I can move to the next part of my job. Where is my 10mm? This is going for a cruise. I'm going to tighten the 10mm down and lock off the 8mm lock nut, because we are done with the trim side of things mechanically. These trim boxes have just a shorter thread, so you can't adjust the adjust it out. All right, now we've got to adjust the steering, otherwise it ain't going to steer straight. This is pretty easy enough to do. You just go full lock. All right, just put it full lock, and you get the measurement hard up against the exit nozzle, and tell me what it says there. Okay. So in this instance, we are at about 49, and I go the same on this side, and we're a bit over 50. Okay, so that's telling me I need to go that way. So I probably wound it out too far. So let's go back in one turn, see where that takes us. And just keep repeating it until you get it exactly center. If you don't get it exactly center, then your steering's going to be out. Still got to do more. Steering might have been out from the factory. Ah, I've probably gone the wrong way. I know. That's smack bang on 50. Oh, so's that. Beauty. All right, we got it. So I'll bring up the 11mm so it's snug against it, so it's not going to turn on me. I will put Loctite on this. Now I can put my steering back together. So just got to turn it in and out until you get it right. And like I said, I go for exact numbers because I want my steering to be straight. Let's check again. What do they say? Measure twice, cut once, yeah? Beautiful. So now I know my steering's going to be straight. Now, this is where the trim measurement is done, on the top to the top, but I've got to initialise it a few more times, and it's normally pretty good. Well, I tell you what, I know those numbers from past jobs, and actually that's actually done really well. Huh, that's 66 and 66. I will still show you how I initialise it another 2 times. So at this point, we've got the 4 bolts done, the wedge is in, thick side to the bottom, it goes into a groove, it can only go one way. I have put the extender on the trim cable. I've Loctited it into the end there. It is locked up, Loctite is on here, steering is adjusted. I will just reinitialize it a couple of times so that the nozzle is happy, the computer knows where it is. There's the pump wedge side fitted, and now I have to put the KS3 ride plate on. So just let me initialize it a couple more times. Doesn't hurt the computer just to keep checking where it is. All right, mode down, initializing. Why not? One more time. Okay, that is the pump wedge fitted. Now I'm just going to put the new ride plate on. All right, I just always double check my stuff while I've got room here. Again, check the 8mm is tight. Good. Check that I tighten the 11mm. There's now. That's tight, that's tight, that's tight, that's tight, that's tight. I know we're good. Rightio. I'm going to fit the ride plate, so I could probably get rid of some of these tools here. Get out of the video. We don't need any of those anymore. We only need that and that. Okay, we are changing to the KS3 ride plate. Here she is. Put her on the ground here. This is the factory ride plate. The factory ride plate on the 24 has a spring on it. The 22 and 23 doesn't. We don't need it on ours, so we can just take the spring off, but we need this. So these have a little space in there, so make sure to keep those. Move this over to the KS3. Okay, need a little bit of Loctite on the bolts. Nice. Let's put it on. I need that. You'll feel the hole there. Oop. Do everything finger tight first. Like I said, I check everything by hand. That's just a me thing. KS3 is done, reverse bucket is on. We now bring this up. So here are the 8 bolts that we use to put the ride plate on. Just a little Bit of blue Loctite. Okay. I'm going to, probably easier to show you now on the video, it doesn't matter you do it now or in a second, but I want this rod out because we've initialized it so it's pulled back in, whereas right at the very start of the video I brought the reverse bucket out here so that I could undo it, remember? So I'm just going to go up to the top of the dash and I'm going to hold the cruise down button for 5 seconds and then hit the up button for 2 seconds. So you can keep the video there. So this is the cruise button on the right hand side. I'm holding the bottom button down now 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I'm going to go up 1, up 2. That gives me my wiggle room. Okay, let's get these bolts on. Here's the KS3 ride plate. Get all the bolts in loosely. Alrighty. I put everything in hand tight so I can feel the threads and make sure that it's all going in and it's happy, because it's better off to fix, if you haven't got the bolt going in straight now, fix it now while it's only hand tight. Drive that thing home with the Alright, so now I can bring this up. I bring the two center ones up. There is something that I will tell you that I do, and I did miss on the video for you. I do actually use the blade when the plate is off. I do actually scrape the rest of the silicon off, because I am going to put new silicon on this plate. So I just run the blade around when the plate was off. We just had an interruption in the video with someone coming in the shop, which is why when I took it off then. But I just take the silicon off the edge of the hull to give the plate enough so it goes up straight. That one's already done. Then I do it by hand, as I say to you. Now before I silicon this ride plate on, I'm going to do the initializing a few times more, and I'm going to measure so that I don't have to break the silicon again. Here is the trim bucket collar. I hold that back, I put it on the ball, and I make sure that it is all the way back flush. Okay, so I'm good with that. Alright guys, so I've now got the ride plate up, I've Loctited the bolts in, all 8. I've got the collar on the reverse bucket on, the 10 mils tight Loctited, the 10 mils tight Loctited, the 11 mil lock nut for the steering is locked, the 8 mil for the trim is locked. we're good at the back here, and the bilge line's on, so we're good at the back here. The next thing I want to do is I want to go up to the top to the dash, and I want to do the initialization again so that everything sets itself up nice and square. I'll come back down here and I'll use my measuring stick and see what I've got the measurements come up to. But this job essentially is done other than the silicon, so let me go and initialize it now. Make sure I'm happy, because I want to make sure the measurements are right before I silicon the plate, of course. Okay, I'm come up the top. You know how this works. I'm in maintenance mode already, so I just hit the mode button until the initialization comes on. There it is. Let it do its thing. You can do it once, you can do it twice. I don't care, I'll do it twice while you can watch it on the video. Okay, now I get down here. If you remember rightly, the steering was on my one. It was correct. And now we do the top measurement. And I am at I tell you what, I'm within 0.5 millimetre. I'm good with that. So I'm happy with that, 0.5 mil between top and bottom. It's time to silicon. So look, I use a marine silicon. It doesn't matter, it's just silicon. There's a gap at the front of the plate. Essentially, I want it filled up. This one is the brand Sika Marine. It's what I had in the fridge, so I'm not I just run a bead around it so that it's happy. It's reasonably tight on the sides, so you can just as per what you need. There's no, oh, hit the trolley. Hit the trolley again. All right, let's just use my finger. All right. Don't worry about the mess, we'll be tightening it up in a second. It's only silicone. Alright, get myself a rag for my fingers and make it pretty. Look at that, all done. Go and take it out of maintenance mode. You got yourself a jet ski. Let's take it out of maintenance mode. Remember, we were highlighted with on. So we jog wheel down to off, press off. We're done. Just back all the way to the screen that you know. I now often start it. So you need the lanyard back in. Keys on. Press the start button. Just make sure neutral, forward, neutral, reverse. Alright, put it into forward, and then I check the trim going up. There you go, the trim goes up, trim goes to the middle, trim goes down. Right, everything's working. Thanks for watching.